Oh, wow. Huge truth bomb to share with you guys. Um, I'm hiding a lot of excitement right now because this video won't make any sense if I'm like, I have so many things to talk about, and I'll just start with a conversation I had with Lisa, and it refers to a video I made earlier of me freaking out about how I'm playing a role, and now Lisa, when she bought my groceries, I felt really uncomfortable, and apparently, her and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but have been dealing with the same complex, the internal kind of conversation, but with on the opposite spectrum. So the same kind of fears and doubts, and should I, shouldn't I, what's the right thing to do, and we were both essentially playing a role in that moment that we both didn't want to play. And today we talked about it. What really happened in that situation was when she paid for the groceries, which wasn't supposed to happen. Neither of us expected it. It was kind of planned, I guess, by the universe, because the timing of it was perfect, and she forgot something and I went to go get it, and then by the time it came back she had to pay, and blah blah blah, and it's Costco, so you have to have a membership card, but she came back, and when I saw she paid, I said, you didn't have to do that, and she kind of said, well, here's the receipt, you can pay me back if you want. And I I disregarded that. I thought that was just her being nice. And today, she reflected that moment back onto me, and I reevaluated the situation and realized that in that moment, there was an underlying feeling of, I don't want to pay her back. And that leads to a whole nother conversation. Because as soon as I was honest about that, I realized that the thing that was causing me so much misery in that moment was the same thing that didn't want to pay her back, because it was thriving on the role of what I spoke about in my other video of superior, inferior, child, parent, and the separation. It's the ego feeding off of the separation. And I was completely identified in that moment with those feelings. I thought that that's who I was. And I acted based upon it. The next day, I was like, I'm going to go give my money away to the homeless. And there was this opportunity, no, you can pay back Lisa the $12. Why are you giving? And then I started thinking about the first $20 I gave away to the first guy that I saw. That interaction felt empty. Not because he wasn't happy, he was, but because there was an underlying selfish neediness of feeling worthy, that I used that situation to allow myself to feel temporarily superior by being the one that has something to give. That's a fucking truth bomb for you right there. And me and Lisa looked at each other, and we were completely transparent, and she worked through things that she felt in the opposite spectrum, and that'll be for her to share. That's not for me to share, but we mirrored each other in that moment. And, you know, I there's a famous saying, I don't want to say who said it because there's a lot of judgment about it, but when they say the truth will set you free, that's literally what happened. Like, we both were just, and the fear was there in that moment. Don't think that it wasn't. Don't think I was so courageous. No, it was terrifying, and I stood there, but because of, I would like to think it's because of my meditation every day, and specifically today, I meditated for 2 hours plus. And later on in the day, when that moment arose, and it was an uncomfortable situation, the uncomfortable feeling wasn't like, it wasn't here, it was here. It was still there, but there was this other space that could react to that situation and just let this be here. And it was a space for my own discomfort, and I was a space for Lisa's discomfort, and she was that for me, because neither of us judged each other in that moment. It was completely judge-free, and that was the only way that we could have talked about it that way. And holy shit, that's a whole nother chapter in my book that I'm writing. My relationship with money has been so unhealthy. The world of positives and negatives work in pairs. Like, that's when we say the universe doesn't know or care about positive or negatives. It's because they're the same. They're different frequencies, or use whatever word you want to. Maybe I'm not describing it. They're the same frequency with different faces, or different frequencies with the same, but they're mirroring each other. Like, it's a fleeting illusion. And if I feel inferior for not having money, that immediately implies that I feel superior when I have money. And both of those are the same, evil, for lack of a better word. It's the same illusion. It never leads you anywhere. It's as equally unhealthy. So that's just a tiny part of today's holy shitness moments, and there's also another holy shit moment that I want to do a separate video for because it's just too great. So, yeah. Thank you, Lisa. I love you.